erin ò ní ń.
The event in recent times with respect to time and people.
Let me assure you, our mothers, that our administration is not relenting in its efforts at making life better for our people in the state. We shall continue to pursue programs and policies to relieve parents of the burden of parenthood towards our children. This year, the state government had paid West African Examination Council fees for our children in public secondary schools. We have plans for bursary and scholarship, the details of which are being worked out. The state government has set up Agriculture and Food Security Committee that is doing a good job. Our commitment to ensuring that no family goes to bed hungry in Ondo State is total.
Akérèdọ́lù has laid a good foundation.
Welcome back, everyone. It's 10 a.m. today. Of course, now we'll be looking at the first topical issue of the day, and it's centering on our East mandate and its impact on the people's health in Ondo State. I've been joined by one of the features of the health sector, specifically from the Ondo State Contributing Health Commission, Mrs. Aderonke Ibitoye. Thank you so much for joining me on here today.
Thank you, Mr. Presenter, for having me.
Well, the Mimigo administration was known for ABA. The Akeredolu administration also came up with Sholayo and all of those other things. The head of the administration, what exactly has it been able to bring up as impact on the life of the people through the health sector?
Thank you very much, and I want to say good morning to you, presenter, and also the Osrc management. For the present administration, they've been doing a lot regarding so many things in the health sector, and if you look at the our HIS agenda, we have our own target area there, which is the effective service delivery and social development. So for the current administration under the leadership of Dr. Lucky Orimisan-Ayedatiwa, they've been doing a lot to ensure that they provide financial succor for people of Ondo State regarding their health. So in 2024 last year, the informal sector scheme was launched. That is, that caters for the people outside that do not, earn salaries from the government payroll. And it is on this note that we'll let you know that for the formal sector scheme that we started in 2022, we've recorded about 1,003 lives, that is both the principal, that is the contributor, and also the dependent. This one is majorly for the civil servants and political office holders. And also the government under the leadership of Dr. Lucky Orimisan-Ayedatiwa have been doing a lot in terms of commitment to ensuring that they remit the premium, which is the percentage that they said they will be remitting from inception. And they've been doing well regarding this, because if you agree with me, you will know that there is no how government can do it all. So during the former administration, you will remember that people will come from Lagos State, from Osun State, from Ogun State, and from all neighboring states to access care in Ondo State regarding that program. But now we run the Abiyamo scheme, which is the Abiyamo Maternal and Child Health Insurance Scheme, which started some few years ago. And since then, the government has been paying its premium, on behalf of these people. It is not free health, because somebody is paying in their, in this regard. And you will see that we've covered a lot of things concerning this scheme. We have about 4,800 surgeries, concerning the mothers that will go there, that is pregnant women, because it covers pregnant women and children under the age of 5.
Apart from normal delivery?
Exactly. Apart from normal delivery, we have that, which is the safe vaginal delivery. We have covered about 4,800, that is the pregnant women that will need to undergo cesarean section. And we have about 418 twins recorded, that is twins that we have recorded under the scheme. We have 2 quadruplets, and we have about 12 triplets. So you can see that, and these are the people that goes to these facilities and they access care at no cost. That is the state government under the leadership of this current administration. They've been remitting the premium of these people to ensure that our residents in Ondo State do not suffer financial hardship when they want to deliver in our facilities. So before, it was just 2 facilities during the previous administration, during the ABA program. It was just the mother and child in Akure and also in Ondo.
Well, how about the sophistication of those facilities? Do we have that replicated in the now duplicated or maybe multiplied centers? We have the sophistication of equipment and all of those.
Yes, I'm about to explain that. So now currently across the 3 senatorial regions, we have facilities that are being picked to be delivering these services. So in the North Senatorial region, we have the General Hospital Owo, and we have the State Specialist Hospital Ikaria.
I quite agree with you on that. What I'm asking you
so
is,
I want to pull that.
For instance, during the time you were referencing, you find lots of equipment and all of those other things in those facilities. Do we have that?
Yes.
As to be able to now to render
The
such
services.
quality service
Yes.
that some would say they could enjoy in those two facilities you're talking about.
Yeah, so apart from the North Senatorial region, we also have them at the South Senatorial region, the General Hospital Igbokoda, the State Specialist Hospital Okitipupa, and also the General Hospital Ore. So for the two facilities I mentioned earlier that they were using during the previous administration, they are still being used. That is the Mother and Child Hospital and also the current State Specialist Hospital Akure now, because it was formerly Mother and Child Akure, but now it has been upgraded. That is part of where you will see the sophistication, because it cuts across board. You are talking about equipment. The government is doing a lot in that regard. Currently, we are hoping to have very soon CT scan, MRI in this state to be performing a lot of investigations, for our people that need such things. And also, it's all cut across also having staff that will be able to provide these services. Currently, the governor ensured that they looked at areas in which our people have been complaining. I mean, the health sector workers have been complaining. You will be having attrition for a very long time in the state, and also it's cut across the country. So the governor was able to say that, okay, let's look at agencies under the health sector that can recruit people. So even the Civil Service Commission, which is the major, the big gun itself, had to recruit health workers. Ministry of Health, Hospitals Management Board, Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and the like. So they've done a lot, this current administration, and also they even increased, the governor ensured that he listened to the agitation of the unions, of the health workers, and ensured they increased the entry point of nurses and also of medical doctors. So currently, even salaries are being paid as a when due, and also the salaries were also visited to be increased. And also in this state, up till now, there's no health worker that will say that they want to be running, from one state to another, unlike before. So it is a great thing that the government is doing in that regard. And also, they have been able to ensure that we have quality pharmaceuticals, companies that are coming to the state to ensure that we have uninterrupted quality drugs. That is why we have the Ondo State Health Commodities and Drug Management Agency, and they've been fulfilling on their mandates to ensure that we have uninterrupted quality drugs in all the facilities that are, supplying.
Let's talk about
residents.
one thing that seems so little, but then having adverse impact on the people: malaria. Recently, conversations surround the negative impact of malaria on the health of the people. Can we say Ondo State government is doing enough to deal with this scourge in society?
Yes, thank you. For that, the government is doing a lot, and you see that in that regards, they've been doing a kind of collaborative, engagement with several MDAs working in this regard. So we have the Impact project in the state that has been working, with their team assiduously and with some development partners to ensure that we nip the scourge in the bud. And also, our team have been, going from one place to another to ensure that, the team of health workers in the state that are working in this regard, to ensure that they train secondary healthcare facilities workers and also the primary healthcare development agency workers to ensure that you do enough before you even place people on anti-malaria drugs, and also preventions, giving of safety nets, insecticide treated nets to our people in the state. So you agree with me that with all these things that the government has been doing to ensure that the health of its populace and its residents is germane to them. So that all these things is one of the things that can give them that universal health coverage, which is one of the sustainable development goals that we are trying to achieve. Yes.
Now, some will think that Lassa fever is gone, but then anyone who is conversant with what's going on in the health sector would know that Lassa fever is still here and impact on the people. It seems like it's only once in a while that the advocacy, sensitization comes up. After that, the authorities relapse, and then once it's dry season again, you are coming up to talk about it. Why is it not a sustained advocacy is it that it does not matter like HIV/AIDS and all of those other things? Like the people in town will say, you know, we hear a lot because of our own job. They say, maybe it's because there is funding from development partners. That's why the noise on HIV/AIDS is there, and then on the others there is less concentration. What exactly is the matter?
Thank you. For so many public health emergencies like Lassa fever, we have a team of health workers that are working in that regards also. And well, you've said something that you hear a lot because of the nature of your job. But one thing is very, very sure. Our workers, our health workers cannot be everywhere at the same time. So they are doing a lot. We have desk officers in the Ministry of Health and also in all the health MDAs that are working, together to ensure that they educate residents, especially the people that produces some food that people do buy in the market, and also for people that are selling in the market, teaching them how to store their foodstuffs and to ensure that they don't get contaminated by these rodents. So it's a lot that the government is doing, and they are ensuring that from time to time all these health workers are in different communities, in different towns, in different suburbs to ensure that they disseminate this information across to them. And also the desk officer at the Ministry of Health and also the team that are working together at the Public Health Department, they are also ensuring that they collaborate with all other MDAs that are also looking at what they can do to nip this kind of public health emergency in the bud. And also we have the treatment plan that has been ongoing, sensitizing people about it. And I know that for the ones that we have had in the States, they've done a lot to ensure that it doesn't get spread to other people, in the community. So the government is doing a lot in that regard.
Data collection is important in any planning, especially when we want to look at the health sector. And your agency, the Contributing Health Commission, has a lot of responsibility in that regard too, because I do not know how you'll be able to successfully float the informal sector of your projects without adequate data. How well are you going about data collection for effective planning so that you'll be able to record the success of these programs?
Thank you. For the, I mentioned for formal sector, so also for the informal sector, which we've even started before the governor flagged off the scheme for us last year in September. So we've been collaborating with different associations, with different groups to get their database. For example, the artisans in 2020, we had a kind of engagement with them during COVID, and even before that time, some other groups that we have been having conversations with, and at that time we were given their database to be about 350,000 in the state, that is across 18 LGAs, where we have the artisan group ranging from hairdressers, tailors, furnitures, carpenters, and so on and so forth. And also for some affiliates of unions under the TUC, Trade Union Congress, we have about 23 affiliates, and for each of those groups we've been collecting their data. So it is very important for us to collect this data to be able to inform our decisions, and also to be able to ensure that, okay, with this data we can actually plan and we can actually look at how we take their premiums and also see ways in which it will be convenient for them to remit this premium. So it will just be like a group insurance for them, and that is what we have been advocating, and we have been sensitizing them. Last week now, for example, we were at the NUP verification exercise that was held in the Fedore, and this is happening also concurrently in some other LGs. Like this morning, our officers will be in Ondo West, to sensitize people there so that they can see how they can come under this safety net. So for the pensioners, we have over 50,000 of them in the state. So database is very key. So collection of data, like what you said, is key in planning or any project or program. So for us at the Commission, we are working in that regards, and we also have some development partners that are also working with us, that the state is ensuring that they bring to us so that we can collaborate together and help us to drive our processes. For example, we have the Clinton Health Access Initiative under the GAP project. They are doing a lot also for us in the state. So we cannot but mention them, and some other partners that we are still hoping that will join us so that we can actually achieve our mandate, which is to regulate and also to supervise all health insurance activities in the state.
Now, children are deemed to be the future leaders and the hope of the nation. It's the 19th day of May already, and by the 27th we will be celebrating Children's Day. What exactly has been the preoccupation in the minds of the health sector of Ondo State, and specifically your commission, in looking at enhancing the health of children and not just their parents alone?
Thank you. For children, I mentioned for Habiyamo scheme, it cuts across two major vulnerable groups. Okay. That is pregnant women and children under the age of 5. And for ESCO to have picked these two set of people, that means the state is looking at how we can, provide financial support to prevent some ailments.
What happens to children above 5?
Yes, I'm about to talk on that, just to bring people
because
from
I'm
0
interested.
to 5.
Most times, all of these programs, they tell you from age 0 to 5. Immunization, age 0 to 5. There's other one, age 0 to 5. So what happens to all the children
because
in the other age bracket?
Because between 0 to 5, they are prone to so many childhood illnesses. That is why they look more on them, so that they can ensure that they are not vulnerable to all these ailments. So from 5 years above, for example, the health insurance that we are running in the state for the formal sector, the family plan, and also the one that is about to be joined, this is the informal sector plan. Looking at the family plan, you will see that it is from 0 to 18 years old. Okay. And above 18 years, we believe the person would have been in university or one tertiary institution or the other, or learning one trade or apprenticeship, somewhere. So from that 18 years above, and even in law, being an adult, can always buy an health insurance for him or herself, or the parent helps or the guardian helps out. So for the health insurance, you will see that we have a very robust benefits package ranging from inpatients and so many things, surgeries that can cater for these cohort of people. So apart from the 0 to 5 years, you can see now that even above 5 years, we are looking in that regards to ensure that they are being catered for, just like the people within that children below that 5 years old. So the government is doing a lot in that regards.
Right. Before I let you go, let's look at the Ondo Secondary Health Commission. It's been on ground for a few years now, and it says it's been recording success stories. You've also highlighted some of them. I'd like to know how well it's been able to deal with capitation issues in so much that perhaps it's been able to learn from the observable lapses and challenges that the NHIS has faced over the years. How do you deal with capitation issues? How well responsive and responsible are the HMOs and all of those other stakeholders in the value chain?
Yes, for ODCHC, we are a responsive organization, and for ODCHC and the schemes, they were set up by law in the year 2018, and we kicked operation in 2019. So before we kick-started, we had already, looked at all these challenges of some other health insurance agencies, and also the NHIS, so to say, being our regulator, and we do not want to fall in that same, challenges or problems, so to say. So for us at the Commission, we've been so responsive to payment of capitation. We have two major payment mechanisms that we use. We have capitation, that is, we pay the facilities before the enrollees get there. So currently, in fact, we have not been owing any facility except for facilities that have issues concerning their banks. Okay. And when they have issues concerning that, it's just for them to write us or call yours, and we sit down, we reconcile, and they give us the updates regarding their bank, and we push. So currently, we are not owing any facility.
How about verification of claims?
Yes, for
facilities.
For claims, we have the third-party administrators. Because we cannot be everywhere at the same time, and we run a very lean structure at the Commission. So we have them across the 3 FGs. I beg your pardon. I mean across the 3 senatorial districts. Okay. So for the 3 senatorial districts, we have the United HMO that covers the South senatorial districts. we have the International Health Management Services that covers the North Senatorial region, and also we have a live ward, and this, what they do for us majorly is client services, and also they help us in vetting claims. But when the claims get to us also, we don't just pay, we look at it again, we double check, we do medical claims at our own end before we make payment to these facilities. So we have agreed tariff that we sign between us and the facilities. So based on the agreed tariff, then we use it to pay our facilities by the time they give us these claims. But it is the claims they give to us that we work on. If they don't bring their claims, we cannot, pay any claim that they are saying they have, incurred. So most times we do encourage them to submit their claims early enough so that we can, actually get them after the TPAs might have, vetted their own.
Now, on the final note, what should the people of Ondo State expect more from the Contributing Health Commission, especially now that it says it's launching the informal sector of its services? How well will this really be coordinatedly administered that the people will benefit, and not just for a microscopic few who belong to one group or another? Or how would you be able to deal with those who do not belong to any group?
Yeah, thank you. That would be a very straight answer. For us, we've been able to develop several strategies that will enable us to, reach out to individuals that do not even belong to any group. So currently,
I do not need to belong to a group as an informal person to enjoy contributing health scheme.
Even if the person is just a person that is trading in his or her shop and do not belong to any association or any group. Yes, it's just for the person to reach out to us or reach out to our online presence and just fill the form, make payments, and the person puts into the health insurance. So it's just for us to ensure that the strategies are well deployed and to ensure that we fulfill on our own mandate and to ensure that our people in the state key into this scheme. This laudable scheme is what will ensure that our people are healthy. And I use the opportunity to call on residents of Ondo State to participate in this scheme. It is a very good one for them. It will save them from financial hardship, and also it will reduce poverty in our society. Looking at what is happening in the state now, and not even in the state, I mean worldwide, because of this current economic situation that we have in the country and also across board. This is the best time for people to join health insurance so that they don't find themselves spending when they are not supposed to just spend. If they have given their premium to us, it's just for us to provide services as we have promised. So we will not relent in our hours to ensuring that our people, our residents of Ondo State, get that services that they require concerning health insurance.
All right, thank you very much, Princess Aderonke Ibitoye, for explaining and espousing all of these programs and initiatives of government in the health sector. Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we return, the outlook continues. Please stay with us, everyone.
Let me assure you, our mothers, that our administration is not relenting in its efforts at making life better for our people in the state. We shall continue to pursue programs and policies to relieve parents of the burden of parenthood towards our children. This year, the state government had paid West African Examination Council fees for our children in public secondary schools. We have plans for bursary and scholarships, the details of which are being worked out. The state government has set up Agricultural and Food Security Committee that is doing a good job. Our commitment is to ensure that no family goes to bed hungry in Ondo State is total.
Very excited about this initiative, and I am very proud of all the giant strides of our amiable governor, Arakorin Akeredolu, in whom I am personally well pleased with as the leader of this administration.
We have children that are less than 20 years old or that are in their mid-20s thinking of how to build houses, when in the real sense of it, they should still be in school. That is not how some of us were trained. We were trained to grow gradually.
The Nollywood angle, the movie industry, we are told that what you watch affects your mind, what you see, what you hear. And the movie industry has the opportunity of changing narratives. How? Please, for God's sake, for the umpteenth time, stop showing us movies that somebody is poor today and the next minute it goes to an herbalist, goes to a pastor, or goes to an afar, and immediately a week after he's riding a big car.
Had it been that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has been killed publicly for this purpose, I'm very sure, if not all of them, at least a very high percentage of these people who wanted to do it will have a change of heart.
Parents should train their children in the way of the Lord. Teach them to fear God. Teach them to value good name more than silver or gold. The Bible says a good name is better than silver or gold.
As well was record, that Nigeria is second.
What is the definition of a foreigner? A foreigner is a person who comes into your country without papers, doesn't have anything to show. That includes you. You are foreigners because you have nothing to show. You go around claiming this is your country. Let's go outside, show me papers that confirms you are the owner of this country. There's nothing. You don't own anything, yet you call people foreigners. You are a foreigner yourself because you do not own.
Let's know you're still with us on AM today, and on this segment of the discussion, we'll be looking at the Nigerian National Sports Festival happening in Ogun State right now. It's actually begun on the 16th. The opening ceremony was yesterday, colorful parade, and we're going to be looking at the objectives of that national festival. The festival living up to its expectation, and we're going to be taking a look at the Ondo State contingent, how many of these activities are we participating in, and so much more. And to discuss this with us this morning, I have with me Olumide Adeluoye, a comrade, a sports journalist. It's nice to have you, Olumide.
A comrade, you say?
Yes.
Well, okay. Let's say a big congratulations to Nigeria, because it's not an easy feat to have that kind of festival.
It's biennial, is it?
Yes, twice. Every
twice,
2 years.
Every 2 years.
So, of course, Ogun State is presently hosting that event. It should have been held last year, but because of various exigencies, we have to put some of these facilities on track. It should be best practices. Of course, some of these facilities have not been in good shape. So the Ogun State government had to ensure that all these things need to be in place before the competition actually take place. And we had a very wonderful one yesterday. Let me say, in short, one of the best with what we've been having. Edo State had the last one, and now we are having Ogun State. Just like I said, it should have been held last year, but now we have it in 2025.
It's still a good time to have it.
Of course.
But let's look at it. You talked about Edo State, had it, and now Ogun State. What's the bidding process? For instance, why? You also said for some restructuring purposes that to be shifted, to this year. Like the Olympics, you bid for it after, after this one, we already know the next country.
Of course, before the end of this this festival on 30th of May. The next state will be announced. It's just like passing the baton. We would have just like before the end of Edo festival, the last one we had, Ogun State was announced. So of course it's a bidding process, just like the Olympics, other competitions.
This is Ondo State bidding.
Of course, why not? There's no state that can bid for it. The fact remains that you must have the right prerequisite.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think we do have?
Yeah. Just like what the state governor said during the Niger Delta Sport Festival, he said if Akwa Ibom, who hosted that festival, that competition, was able to do that, then why not Ondo State? So same goes to the National Sports Festival. If Ogun State, Southwest neighbor, can do that, Ondo State can actually do it as well.
Yes, Ondo State can do it. It said that one of the objectives of the National Sports Festival says, yes, it's a profound statement that sport remains the soul of Nigeria's togetherness, and unity is actually one of the objectives of national unity. Is one of the objectives of the sports festival. How effective is this tool, in having Nigerians together in promoting national unity?
I would say
has it been?
It is because for you to have now, let me just give a summary about this particular national sports festival. Now you'll be having close to 38 states participating. Now you ask me that we only have 36, so we have 36 states. The FCT
plus the FCT.
Then we're having something that is quite different that have not been here before. We're having IJA. We call them invited junior athletes under 18 years. So making 18 states that is participating. They are among the states where they were picked. I think just like what we had in the Niger Delta, we have young lads that participated in that festival. So the organizer looked at this set of persons should not just go like that. So let us have harvest of them. So to
were
make
picked
it
across states?
Yeah, they were picked. So to have them to compete alongside with other states. And so that now in short, the funniest thing is that they already won 2 gold medals at yesterday. These young talents. So if we are talking of national cohesion, we're talking of sport is very key. Just like the vice president said yesterday, he said one of those things that the president has been able to do to have taken sport away from the Ministry of Sport and bring it up with a commission. It has to, the president listen to the yearnings of the people. How can we revitalize sport, starting from the grassroots? And you discover that sport is one unifying, let me use figure that has unified everyone. Now, taking a look at the situation of the country, you talk of the security, you talk of, let me say, hunger and every other thing, and you see how you are having more than 15,000 athletes for this competition in one state.
From the different states.
Yes, from the different states of federation. Nothing have brought them together. That's sport.
All right. Yes. One of the other reasons is established program of athletes succession. That is, as the older ones probably retiring,
yes,
we're having younger ones, taking over from them. Is that still the process? Because the athletes now, the different contingents from different states, are they drawn from maybe schools? Was it a build-up of maybe schools competition, then from there you go to state, and now they're representing nationally?
Of course, that is a process. I could remember I would always fall back to the Niger Delta because we knew how the process was. It was down from the, let me say, council areas for Ondo State, and I know that's the way it is for other states as well. Council areas, they had to do the trials and every other things. So that is the process. We have the likes of Toby Amuson today. We have the likes of Anthony Joshua. Many of them. They didn't just rise to their peak at that point, but they were vested right from the grassroots. It's just like what we've been yearning all this while. It's just that a lot of things still needs to be done, most especially at the grassroots, and that is what is happening presently. You need to go back to the grassroots, discover these talents. When you discover them, you know how to nurture them. Let them be sponsoring. So when you sponsor them to various competitions, then you see them participate. Something happened over the weekend. There's a lady, an athlete, Favor Philly, 150 meters. She broke the world record. She was unable to participate in the 200 meters at the Olympics because of some irregularities. But this was someone. This is an athlete from Port Harcourt, and she's already making Nigeria proud. So it shows that if these athletes are well invested, they have the right sponsorship, you see them doing well. You see them performing well, and that same goes to the National Sports Festival. Now, you see, a lot of persons will be blaming. Will say, why were you postponing? Because it was close to, let me say, 2 to 3 times that it was postponed before we. Yes, but one will also say that you need to have a competition that the world will know that this is a competition. Now, we had a lot of irregularities last year. We talk of the hostels, we talk of the officials. I'm 100% sure that many of these things will be checked this time around, will be corrected this time around. So these are the things, when all these things are put in place, whosoever won the gold medal, the silver medal, or the bronze will be encouraged that if I can do this, why not more than this?
Okay, you talked something about motivation of athletes. Yes, we're still coming back to the National Sports Festival because, for instance, in Ondo State, how many of these sporting activities are contingents going to be participating in?
Well, we have 19 events that on Team Ondo will be participating with 162 athletes. And some of the competitions, events that they will take part is basketball. We have athletics, boxing, kickboxing, weightlifting. Weightlifting has been one of our joker. And volleyball, badminton, table tennis, abula, ayo, lokmo,
what's abula
wrestling.
Again? I'm hearing that for the first time.
Abula is, just like I said, it's one of those games. So you see some of these athletes, we have some of these facilities out there. So, and before they left, was it not on Friday now? Last Friday, they were in close camping. And the general manager, Sunday Fagite of the State Sport Complex, had to tell them that if you can perform very well at the concluded Niger Delta, we were ranked 5th out of 9. Of course, one will say that 5th out of 9 is too, but notwithstanding, you also need to look at the participating teams. You have the likes of Bayelsa, of this world that compete with Lagos and Port Rivers and the likes. So even those Team Ondo could have emerged from fifth. So this encouragement was there that if you can do it back then, we can do it now. As in the last national sports where we ranked 13 out of 36. So we believe with all the preparations and everything that we won't be that 13. We should be among the top 10.
Okay, now let's look at the Ondo State soccer team. That's talking about the Sunshine Stars. He's talking about ranking 15 in the Niger Delta.
Fifth.
Yes, but the Sunshine Stars recently faced relegation. Yes,
not that they faced relegation; they already relegated.
Yes.
Of course, it's a pity that something of such happened. But in the world of let me say sport, is either you win some or you lose some. But of course, a lot of persons will say that a lot of intrigues behind their failure. But just like we've always said, that there's always room for improvement. So we know that Sunshine Stars, and the funniest thing is that the Sunshine Stars are relegated. Sunshine Queens got relegated last season, and yesterday I know you're back. So with the government support and every sports stakeholders, we want to believe that some of these things, what could have led to the relegations, will be looked into and ensure that Sunshine Stars and Sunshine Queens get back to the main league.
Okay, I was going to ask that. Do you think it's probably due to lack of motivation?
No. From the part of government, the motivation was there. The welfare package, the bonus, everything was there. But just like I said, manage because when you establishment, when you have an establishment, managing it to get to a sustainable height is quite huge. But when you now have players all around, and you have managers managing them as well, it's still there's still a lot that needs to be done. And we know that the government will do something about it.
Yeah, we hope that the government will do something so that the Sunshine Stars will be back. Not only in the National Premier League, but even they've participated in CAF before, and they did
the days of the long old days. We believe that it will come back soon. Of course, I know that one thing is that. Sport, when you talk of football, most especially that government-owned teams, it's not only the government that can actually that has the job. So we have the private persons too, individuals who can actually assist. And many times on this that we've cried out that government alone cannot do it. And now, as the situation is, because Osrc is our darling team, so everybody needs to come back to the drawing board. What can we do?
Okay, go back to the National Sports Festival. Yes, how many of these games that we are participating in?
Just like I said, we
are likely to come home with gold medals.
Of course, I'm not in Ogun State presently, but I know that the momentum is high because with what we saw in Ogun State yesterday, every of those states are fully prepared. Let me shock you. Before the opening ceremony yesterday, Team Lagos already had a gold in weightlifting. Then we have the Ija boys. They already had 2 gold in weightlifting as well. And these are games that Team Ondo will directly have. So I know quite well. Team Ondo with much inspiration. The governor was there yesterday as well, so he's another booster. Yes, our governor is a sporting loving governor. So we know that the encouragement is there for these guys. They will do us proud.
They will do us proud, but we're expecting they should do us proud. Sure. It's not negotiable. They should do us proud, and all of that. But then when we're waiting for their participation there and all the encouragements that they can have, we already have some states promising some token. If you were able to have a gold medal, you have $1 million. To have this, are we having such promises?
Of course, I know such promises would have been released out to the athletes.
Maybe to the team,
yes,
not publicized.
Not publicized. Just like I told you, the governor was there yesterday, so I know some of those things will have been delivered to them. And sometimes you need to also retract some of these things, because it could, of course, it's encouraged, and sometimes it might not be on the longer run, because you tend to look at, if I do it, I get. If I don't do it, I don't get, something like that. So what happens for we that don't have? So sometimes it's encouraged, sometimes it doesn't. So, but the fact still remains that the preparations have been on for a longer run, and the government have been investing a lot. The government have been investing a lot. There have been an encouragement right from the trials. The facilities are there for them to have, and every other thing. So they will have it.
Maybe let me just take you a little bit away from, we've been talking about the government and the athletes themselves. What about, you're a sport journalist, I believe that, have you seen parents, who are active in their children's sporting career in the state, for instance?
Yes, without that, there was a boy, I can't get his name now, Guinness World Record in skipping.
Oh, in skipping, the one in the Japo Boy.
In Japo Boy. So, and we had to follow that story. We through the trajectory and everything, we discovered that he had the support of the parents. So, if the support of the parent is not there, I think that's what the clamor is now, going back to the grassroots. So, this is where you need to get some of these persons. You see them playing football on the roadside.
Yes, most of the time parents are still like, don't go and play football, read your book.
Back at those days. Okay. Because people now see what the likes of Anthony Joshua is doing. They know the money that is coming out from there. People see what Toby Amuson is doing in favor of Philly. Many of them. You want to have a child like Messi. You want to have a child like Ronaldo. You want to have a child like Osimhen, who is doing wonders presently. So if they don't have that support, they won't get to that peak.
You get that? I think I leave you with that. If they don't have the support, all those superstars you see in the sporting world, if they don't have that support, they might not be where they are today. So parents, rise up and let that star in your child, let it shine and combine, help them to fine-tune, to blend their academics or whatever it is they are pursuing in life alongside with their talents, not just in the sporting world alone, but in every other talent that you see them exhibit. Well, thank you very much for coming, Olumide, on the show today. And yes, as this activities progress,
of course,
from time to time you come
continue to get
and
updates
give us the
everything.
update.
Thank you for having me.
All right, this is how far we'll be going today on AM Today. Thank you very much for being a part of our world. My name is Fola Shade Ugidon. Say bye for now.